Hi there, my name is Richard. I'm actually a former semiconductor engineer and also a former traditional business owner. Now I own an online internet franchise business. And the thing is this, right? In entrepreneurships, goals is very important. Once you have the goals, you zoom into the goals and do not move the goals. I mean, Singapore is great. I mean, my mom is here, but when we go back to the US, her parents are in the US. So we split our time within two parents. Because my business run online, so I can be anywhere. So in the US, I can always zoom here, and from here I can always zoom back to the US. When I say there's no books can prepare you, books can teach you certain things, certain statistics, all those things. But when you go into entrepreneurship, things changes on the ground every day. See, when I was in the NS, I almost signed up because being an army officer has always been my dream. So that dream was achieved, right? I mean, I passed out as an officer, all those things. But then I realized one thing, I have full cert, but I cannot make it to NUS, NTU. So that became a challenge in the sense that we thought the degree, I mean, you're talking about 1988, we thought a degree is very difficult to go through the rank. Actually, the day before the interview, I actually pulled out. At that time, my girlfriend, which is my wife right now, she already left for the US, wow. Right? So we have a long distance relationship. I left to join my girlfriend at the time. We went to University of Texas in Arlington, right? So I graduated in electrical engineering. My wife actually graduated in computer science engineering. You know, when I first went to the US, I think on my second week, my professor said this, he said, "Boy, I know you're speaking English to me, but I have no idea what you're talking about." Because when Singaporean, we speak very fast. So I went back, I was a bit down, right? Because someone just told me that he has no idea what I'm talking. Then my roommate told me, he said, "Richard, you are going at 90 miles per hour. In Texas, go down to as slow as 30 miles per hour." I was working for National Semiconductor. Essentially, how I go into entrepreneurship is not a path that you dream of, you design. It's not. Actually, it's because of my wife. Yeah, my wife was doing very well. She worked for a company called AT&T. Right, you heard of AT&T, right? So just think about it now, a Singaporean girl working in AT&T, right? So at the age of 29, she was already promoted to become a manager, overseeing 13 engineers. But that comes with a word called stress. And I saw her going through tremendous stress that her health takes a toll. Then I asked myself a question. This was back in 1998. Is there something that my wife can just work from home? Essentially, I just want her to be able to stay at home. But at the same time, you must have an income, because in the US, it's like Singapore, you must have dual income, right? So I did not know what was the option available in this world at the time. So one day I was just asking my colleague, I say, "Hey, you know what? I was just wondering, what does your wife do? Because it sounds like your wife is always available to meet us for lunch." The magical word he says is this: his wife has a business that works from home. That's it. Yeah, because 1998 working from home is not common at all, right? So when he shared that with me, I asked him, I said, "Just tell me what this business is all about." Right? We bought our franchise in 1998. So in 2002, my wife was able to walk away from her job. I did a marble and granite company in year 2000, traditional business, right? So I actually quit my engineering job. I think my uncle called me up from Singapore. He said, hey, he's looking for a sharp individual to jumpstart a marble and granite business in Dallas, right? So I told him, I say, don't look far, that's me. because I'm ready to be an entrepreneur, you know what I mean? Because I saw Shop.com, what Shop.com could do, and he told me, well, your mom said you're a well-paid engineer, right? Why not you just continue as an engineer, find me someone. Essentially, you want to find an American guy, right? So I said, no, let me try. And I did. I quit my engineering in the year 2000. I was actually the president of the company. Okay. Yeah, because we have 4 presidents, right? So I'm the president of the Dallas branch. So we actually import the marble, granites on the slabs, tiles from China. Yeah, later on, I make it into manufacturing, where we manufacture the slabs so that we can install in the homes. And you know, Shay, we make a lot of mistakes. I'll give you one mistake that I make, very big mistake. I actually went and have a realtor and I found a warehouse, right? So I signed something. When I was about to quit my job and I called my realtor, I say, hey, you know, I'm quitting my job. I have 2 containers in the water already. Okay, I'd like to know when I can get hold of the warehouse. And he looked at me, he said, you have not signed anything for the warehouse. I said, yes, I did. He said this, you have just signed intent to lease, it's not leasing. So I say, what does that mean? He said, you haven't got the warehouse. I say, so can you make it happen? And guess what happened? The landlord increased the price. And then I was like, wow, this is lesson number 1 I learned. I have 2 containers in the water and I don't have a warehouse. Can you imagine that? But it's miraculously, I mean, you know, sometimes it's the, you know, it's, what's that called? The secret of the mind, law of attraction. Right, because when I was wanting to look for a warehouse, somehow it just appeared. It was very interesting because I saw one warehouse and I called the realtor, the name was there right in the warehouse, and I still remember he said, hey, I'm actually around the area, what do you want to do? So he come and meet me up and he said, you know what, I know what you need, I have one available now. Isn't that amazing? Miracle. I always believe there's a higher being. Right, so for me, when I married my wife is a Roman Catholic, but I did not convert. Right. So for me, I would say I classify as a free thinker. This is amazing. On our 3rd date, we settled this.
How do you settle it?
Up front, I told her, I say, you know, you cannot convert me to become a Roman Catholic. Yeah, but I know Roman Catholic more than anything else. We've been married for 27 years already. But if we have children, the children can follow you to become a Roman Catholic, but I cannot because my mom is still alive. Because to me, I always believe one thing. Spiritual is needed for every human being.
Why?
You look at from ancient time, every humankind has some form of religion that they pray or they worship to. Right? Some people say pagan, some people say devil, but doesn't matter. They worship for something. This is my belief, is this. You know, as a human being, sometimes we may have issue. We may have problem that we cannot tell our family, cannot tell down, but we want to bring it out. But we cannot bring it out. But with religion, you can pray for it so that it releases your pressure.